Hello, and welcome to the PSC Fit podcast with me, your host, Thomas Fowler. If you are a long-time listener, buongiorno, hello, welcome back. If you're brand new here, then also welcome and hello. I love to talk and waffle on all things PSC, primary sclerosing cholangitis, and I like to cover what I believe are the three pillars, which is movement, mindset, and management. On today's episode, I want to cover guilt. The guilt of not being able to train, or maybe the guilt of not being able to train the same way which you used to be able to do. I have in previous episodes covered energy and how that impacts your training and obviously your day-to-day life. But I want to express and I want to sort of share that I'm fiddling with a pen. I'm mindful that will be picked up on the microphone. You shouldn't feel guilty for the sessions that you aren't able to do, and you certainly shouldn't feel guilty about the sessions that you are able to do. And what I mean by that is I've got a couple of people at the moment that are still within their first couple of weeks working with me on the PSC Fit program. And one of the comments that I had this week, and it's kind of stuck out for me, was they felt really guilty and they felt shit the fact that they only got 2 sessions done this week. Hey, stop that, you. Thank you. Now, for context, this person trains twice a week. We program that they train twice a week. And they got frustrated that they weren't able to get a third session in. So I kind of just helped, remind that individual. And I said, I've got a couple of people that are in a similar situation where they're beating themselves up for not doing an extra session, but you're only looking at doing 2 per week. So in actual fact, you should be celebrating the fact that you were able to do 2 sessions that week. And that third one is a Brucey bonus. Like, if you can get that, amazing. But that is an extra. You should never be beating yourself up for not being able to do it. And similarly, don't beat yourself up for doing 2 sessions. There are going to be days where you can't do any. I'm recording this on the 8th of August, or it'll be released in a couple of weeks. But within the last 2.5 weeks, I've actually only trained once. And that would be so easy for me to sit there and beat myself up and feel really guilty and feel shit that as a coach, I should be training like every day or every other day or whatever Instagram tells you that these Insta fools should be doing. But given my current health, I can't train at the moment. For me, my main focus at the minute is getting my health back up. And yes, there is a part of me that is absolutely dying to train. But at the minute, I physically cannot do it. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not moving. I'm still trying to get a walk in once a day. I take the dog out for a walk. I'll still potter around the house. And if I find myself in a situation where I'm like, oh, I could just maybe do a little something, then I'll do 15 press ups on the worktop. I'll do 10 to 15 squats, or I'll do little bits of movement. But I haven't been able to physically train, lift some weights. And yeah, of course, that is, like I said, there is part of me that is frustrated with that, but I'm not going to beat myself up over it because the main thing that I need to focus on at the moment is getting better. And that's something that I encourage not only you, the listener and viewer, to do, but it's kind of what I tell everyone that I work with. Training it's an amazing tool, but that's exactly what it is. It's a tool. And like I said at the start, and it's something that I go on and on and on about, is those three key areas: movement, mindset, and management. Not all three are going to be, 100% perfect at any given time. So if I can only give 10% on my movement at the moment, then that means I need to significantly increase my focus and attention on my mindset, on the way that I manage things. Because, through time, I will be able to bring up my movement. And as I bring my movement up, that might mean that my mindset can come back down a little bit. We kind of don't know how our liver disease is going to progress. And, there are things that we can do to alleviate issues and scenarios, but we have no control over it. But the one thing we do have control over is our mindset and how we approach the disease and how we approach our flare-ups. And I'm not trying to sit here and say to you that you shouldn't feel, however you want to feel, because yesterday I went and sat with my wife and she was like, "You look miserable." And I was. I was genuinely miserable because I miss training. Because I love it. I love training. I train for my mental health more than anything, but it coincides with physical health. And for me, training has always been my form of therapy, and I know it is for a lot of other people. But if we then start blaming ourselves that we can't do it and we riddle ourselves with guilt, all we're going to do is we're just going to bury ourselves further down into a hole that's going to be a hell of a lot harder to climb back out of. So, where we can't control these things, there's one thing that we can control, and that's up here. That's our mindset. We can control how we react, how we feel about things. And like I said, if all you're going to do is beat yourself up because you can't do it, you're going to be in a shit situation. Now, one of the real easy ways to kind of build on, that lack of ableness is giving yourself evidence and showing yourself that you are able to do some things. So, like I sort of said at the start, I got a client who was frustrated that they only did 2 workouts rather than 3, but we programmed for 2. So let's celebrate the fact that you said you were going to do 2 workouts. You did 2 workouts. There were 2 amber workouts. She wasn't able to do 2 green workouts. But let's celebrate the fact that you were able to do those 2 workouts. Your body allowed you to do those 2 workouts. And the more you focus on that, of what you are able to do, the shit that you can't do becomes irrelevant. It's just noise. And then you stop listening to that noise, because when you're focusing on what you can do, it grows. And that's how confidence is kind of built. When you say you're going to do something and you do it, you get that achievement, you get that dopamine fix, you get those endorphins. And that's what we want. We want to see that sort of shit grow. And I implore every single person living with PSC to take a minute and just honestly take a minute, sit there and think, and look at the things that you can't do. There's no harm in that. Sit and have a look at the things you can't do. But then literally right next to it, like physically write it down. Okay, I can't do this, but I can do that. Okay, so I can't do a 30-minute strength session today. Okay, shit. But what can I do? I might be able to do a 10-minute body weight session. I might be able to go for a 10, 15-minute walk. I might be able to do some yoga today. Or I can't go out for a walk today, but what can I do instead? Can I just potter around the house? And coincide with that, if you need to just sit on the sofa all day, you need to sit in bed all day, that's fine. Because that's what your body is able to do on that day. And it doesn't always have to be on that physical side. So if you are having to have a day in bed or on the sofa, then celebrate the fact that you're able to sort of watch Netflix, you're able to read a book, do some puzzles or whatever. I love doing silly things like Wordle, crosswords, stuff like that, because I need that mental stimulation. And another one with it as well is food, okay? Oh, I can't eat X, Y, Z. Okay, but this is what I can eat. And once you find out the things that you can eat that have a very minimal impact on your PSC and how you are sort of living and feeling, celebrate that. Hone in on that good shit. The things that you are able to do more of it. And again, I've gone off on a wild little tangent there, but I think they're important, and I'll be honest with you, I'm probably never going to stop doing them. And these kind of podcasts are the ones that I enjoy doing most because I get fired up, I get so passionate about, and hopefully you can hear that. But I'm going to try and bring myself back round to obviously the whole purpose of today's episode was living with that guilt and having that guilt on not being able to train. So my takeaway message and something I want you to really, really focus on and do, and please tell me how you get on with it. And if you are actually struggling with looking for the bright side, I guess, of I can't do this, but I can do that. If you're struggling to find the what can I do, please just drop me a message. Contact details are below in the show notes, and I'll happily help you work them out. Because everyone living with PSC deserves to be guilt-free and deserves to be able to live in a stronger capacity. And again, that stronger capacity, movement, mindset, and management. I'm going to wrap up there because my pain is increasing. For those that are watching, you'll see that I'm in the same clothes as last week because I've literally just done 2 back to back. So I'm wrapping up there. Please like, follow, share, subscribe, all that good jazzy stuff. Share it with another PSC warrior. And yeah, please get in touch if you need that help. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Peace.